Hey everybody, Pastor Ryan here with you today with a couple of updates on our worship life at St. Luke's Lutheran Church here in New Richmond, Wisconsin. I'm grateful. We're at about the 8-month mark through pandemic, and with that there's been some ups and downs along the way, some things we've had to let go of or sacrifice for certain seasons, and two, to be mindful of how the pandemic has localized in our county. It's certainly wonderful to see those who are yet comfortable and safer at home, and those who are yet bold but taking responsible risks, let's say, when it comes to some of our in-person efforts, even if those in-person efforts are limited at this time. I think many of you have enjoyed our change in schedule since the fall, where we do have our single 8 o'clock service, and though that is still rather early for some, it does open the door for our family chapel that has had good success with our Sunday school. And so with that, I thank you. Everyone has kind of hung together in some unity, even if the timestamps haven't been ideal. As we get into the Advent season, some of you have been engaged with our newsletters and have also benefited from some mailers at home. Many of you have given fair suggestions about what the turn of the year might look like, but of course all of us are wondering whether or not Christmas will look like this past Easter. So a couple of things you should know. On the one hand, we do not have our midweek Advent services this year for the sake of exposure, and that includes our worship leaders. When it comes to our elders, our altar guild, our musicians, and all of those who are so faithful in being present, we want to make sure that we're honoring that time and certainly respecting various layers of health needs and concerns among those who are serving. It also helps to limit exposure for any who might attend. That might seem like a strange decision to make, but there again, just as it's been since the beginning of the pandemic, we have still been able to get the gospel out, even if that is an online effort exclusively. As we go into the Advent season, we're blessed to continue to trial our new live stream services. Some of you have been part of viewing those tests, and so far we've had at least 5 back-to-back trials for those live streams, and they've all gone well. And so with that, we can look forward to efforts here in the near future where, as you tune in for worship, you would be receiving those in real time. One benefit of live stream there too is that if you choose to worship later in the week, after our Sunday morning efforts, of course those videos will be processed and will be available to you whenever you have the chance to click onto the service. Otherwise, you'll notice happily in our worship life, beginning this week, December 6th, we'll have opportunity for some drive-up service to reinstate and break the fast of the sacrament of Holy Communion. It's going to be a glorious effort, and with that, as safe as possible. We've chimed in with local food service and just as well our local hospital to make sure that we have all of the right tools and all of the right sealed kits that we need so that we can minimize as much risk as possible. Some of you have heard in the worship hour and have also read in the newsletter, but I thought I would share with you here as well as a good reminder. If you choose to be in person on the first or third Sundays of the month, as long as everything is healthy and as long as our current recommendations and health orders hold, we will be able to bless the elements as part of the sacrament in the sanctuary, and we would be escorting those elements out, serving the sacrament in the narthex to those who are on their way home, and also having opportunity to host it in the parking lot for any and all who might drive up to receive it. If you choose to worship at home on a Sunday morning, there's still some good effort, not just immediately after the worship hour, but a time that's set aside from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, where you're welcome to either park in the parking lot and come up and select your own body and blood of Christ, or to come round and to have it served to you. We're happy to serve in whatever way makes you most comfortable. I thought I would share there, and if I can, I'll insert a bit of a picture into the video. The sealed kits that we're using for communion are often known as paratroopers communion. It's an innovation that was done during World War II, and it seals the whole unit of Christ's body and blood. That being said, you'll receive something that looks a lot like a small individual cup, and there'll be 2 layers of film on the top. One film to peel back in order to receive Christ's body, and the second peel back in order to access the blood of Christ. Something to give you as well that will have you dispose it on your own so that we can curb as much disease mitigation as possible. And so to that end, I pray that that finds you well. It's certainly not ideal. We will not be shoulder to shoulder at the communion rail for some time, but it will be a wonderful way to join in this festive season. Finally, an update on Christmas Eve. I know that many are wondering whether or not we might have sign-ups or what our schedule will be on Christmas Eve. Our elders have decided that we're going to do no more but no less than what we would do in a traditional or otherwise healthy Christmastide. And so you can look forward to services in person at 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Those services will be broadcast as well online. And 2 on Christmas Day, a 9 a.m. service. We have yet to decide whether or not Holy Communion will be served at those services, because we imagine, of course, they will be attended with family units who are drawing from all over. We have to be ready for that. There is a chance that we would ask our congregation, you who are viewing, to RSVP to the service that you hope to attend. And just the same, I would bid you, at least as far as we can see one another in this realm of worship, if you already know now that you are more comfortable worshiping from home. I know that can be an incredibly heart-wrenching decision to make. But if you are already now comfortable doing so, I, as your pastor, would encourage you in that comfort, especially if it amounts to any, I'll say, withholding from unnecessary risks. And so to that end, please look out for that in the near future. That will definitely aid us in the way that we social distance and prepare for our in-person and upcoming online services. Of course, we know and trust that as we get to that miracle moment at the manger, we will have a Merry Christmas after all. And as Christ so blesses us in that regard, we look forward to the way that He leads us on into 2021. May God continue to bless you as you engage and as you deepen your faith. Even though Christmas will look perhaps just as peculiar as Easter did, please remember yet again, the church is about the people of God and the power of God's Word. And I pray that the power of His gospel lights upon your hearts and rests in your hearts and minds as Christ Himself gives you His Christmas peace. We'll see you soon. To that end, God's peace and good health. Goodbye for now.